Get ready to uncover a four-way miracle that looks completely impossible. A self-working masterpiece with no setup that delivers surprise after surprise. So, grab a deck, hit subscribe for more confidence-boosting tutorials, and let's uncover the incredible. Okay, so as ever, let's just kickstart by taking a look at the effect itself, and we're going to start with a shuffled deck. So just hand the cards to a spectator. They can shuffle those as much as they like. The cards really are mixed. Now, the first thing you're going to do is just to find a prediction card. So you're just going to take a look through the cards here with a view to finding one card that stands out for some reason, and this will be your prediction card. So nothing there, I don't think. Let's see. No, nothing there. Again, just a card that just springs to mind that you think will work well as a prediction. Nothing there. So let's take a look down here. Maybe I think this card, this could be a good prediction. So I'm going to remove that card just there. And once you've found your prediction, you can place this card on the side where it will stay. We're now going to ask the spectator to take the rest of the deck here and to make a totally random decision. Firstly, you're going to ask them to turn the cards face up so everything is as transparent as possible. And you're just going to ask them to deal cards from the deck here into a single pile on the table. So ask them to start dealing, and they'll just deal cards like so into a single pile. And once they've dealt a few cards, you're just going to invite them to stop at any point. It's a totally free choice. Let's say they stop dealing just about here. Ask them to place the remaining cards face down on the table, and also just to take the dealt cards here and to turn these face down. So we now have a totally random number of dealt cards. It's important to emphasize the spectator could have dealt any number of cards. You're now going to ask them to make their next decision, and just to choose one of the packs here. They can point to either pack. It's a totally free choice. Let's say they point to the pack just here. You can hand these cards to the spectator as their selected pack. Explain to the spectator that you're going to ask them to deal some cards from their pack in just a second, but in order to determine how many cards to deal, you can ask them now to turn over the top card of the remaining pack here. So they'll turn the card over here, in this instance, to reveal a red 5. Now, to really mix things up, you're going to ask the spectator to now spell the word 5 by dealing cards from their selected pack. So ask them to deal one card for each letter to the table, and then to take the final card and just to place that to the side. So in this instance, they're going to spell 5. So F-I-V-E, taking the final card and placing this to the side. At this point, you can just quickly recap what's happened. From a shuffled deck, the spectator dealt a random number of cards. It was a totally free choice. They could have dealt any number. From those, they uncovered a 5, which has been used to deal the cards even further. It's important to note there is absolutely no way that you could have known how many cards would be dealt. Also on the table over here is your single prediction card, which has been there from the very start. You can now ask the spectator to choose either their dealt pile here or the single card on the end just here, and it's a totally free choice. Let's say they choose the dealt pile here. You're now going to ask them to turn over the top card, highlighting the fact they've already uncovered one 5. And as they do so, they're going to reveal another matching 5. Now, a matching pair is good, but it's not as good as 3. So now you can ask the spectator to turn over their single card on the end just here to somehow reveal another matching 5. That's not all though, because now you can take your prediction card, which has been on the table from the very start, and for an incredible 4 in a row, you can reveal the final matching 5. A super effect that's also super easy to perform, so stick around because now I will show you exactly how it works. Okay, so let's take a look at the secret to this effect. Now, the spectator really can shuffle the cards as much as they like. It all adds to the impact. You're now going to take a look through the cards to find a prediction card, and here's what you do. You're secretly just going to note the value of the top card. So here we can see an 8. You're then going to spell this value, taking one card for each letter. So in this instance, I'm going to spell the word 8. So starting with the 8 here, E-I-G-H-T, G, H, T. And this gives you your first group of cards. Now, just a note here, in this first group, you don't want any matching cards to the top card. So if there are any matching cards, you can just cut the deck again in order to get some new top cards. Also, if your top card is an ace, a jack, a queen, or a king, then you'll literally just spell ace, jack, queen, or king. You're now going to take your first group of cards and just place these face down on the table. You're now just going to continue to fan through the cards until you get to the next matching card of your top card. So in this case, remember, I'm looking for the next 8. And there we can see an 8 just there. You're now going to take that matching card along with all of the cards above it and just place these face down onto the pile on the table. You're now going to continue fanning through the cards until you get to the next matching card for your top card. So in this case, the next 8, and there we can see it just there. Now, you're not going to remove this matching card, but you're going to take all of the cards above it and place these face down onto the pile on the table. You're now going to continue fanning through the cards until you get to your final matching card, in this case, the final 8. And this is the card you're going to remove as your prediction card. Removing the prediction card, you can take all of the remaining cards and place these face down on the pile on the table. You can now just take your prediction card and place this on the side where it will stay. Ask the spectator to now take the rest of the deck and just turn the cards face up. You're now going to invite the spectator just to deal cards into a single pile on the table. Now, once they've dealt a few cards, say around 10 or so, you're just going to invite them to stop at any point. It's a totally free choice. Let's say they stop dealing just here. Ask them to place the rest of the deck face down to the side. And now to take the dealt cards here and to turn these face down. You're now going to ask the spectator to point to either of these 2 piles, and depending on what they choose, here's what you do. If they point to this pile here, you're going to move these towards the spectator as their selected pile, and then ask them to turn over the top card of this pile here to determine how many cards they're going to deal from their selected pile. If they choose this pile here to start, then just ask them to turn over the top card to reveal an 8, and then just hand them the other pile here to deal from. Either way, you now have an upturned 8 here, and the spectator is going to deal from this pile here. Ask them now to deal cards into a pile here, spelling out the value of this card. So in this case, they're going to spell out the number 8, E, I, G, H, T. Ask them to take the final card and just place this to the side just here, and then to replace the remaining cards here on top of the dealt cards. Everything is now set for the big reveal. The spectator can turn over the top card of the pile here and the single card on the end to reveal matching 8s. And for the final match, simply turn over your prediction card on the end to reveal an incredible 4 in a row. And there you have it. Every great result begins with seeing it before it happens, just like this prediction. So keep visualizing your goals, believe in them fully, and you'll turn them into reality. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep the magic alive.